Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to make an origami paper tree. To make a tree, you're going to need a piece of paper, a pair of scissors and also a bone folder if you have one. I'm using an A4 sheet of some sparkly copper coloured paper that's a little bit thicker than your usual printer paper. Paper that's thicker than regular printer paper can be a little trickier to fold, but I find that the resulting decoration is a bit sturdier and looks a bit neater. So if you're wanting to keep these ornaments, I would use paper that's on the thicker side. Obviously you can use any colour paper for this, and here you can see an example I did with just regular printer paper. Okay, so if you're starting with a square of paper, then you can skip this very first step. Otherwise, you first need to turn your rectangular piece of paper into a square. To do this, fold the piece of paper diagonally so that the edges line up, like so. Then use your scissors to cut off the single layer of excess paper, i.e. where the paper is not doubled up. Then we need to take the square of paper and fold it horizontally and vertically. Each time that you fold, make sure that the corners line up. If you're using a piece of paper that has a front and a back, make sure that the front is facing downwards or outwards when you're making these folds. After all, we want the front of the paper to be on the outside of the finished tree. And finally, we do another diagonal fold. Rather than then unfolding, position the triangle so that the long edge is towards you. We then need to fold the right hand side and the left hand side of this triangle into the centre. So to fold the right hand side inwards, we need to reverse the outermost fold. This will allow you to push the right hand side inwards to the centre to make a kind of concertina. In order to make a neat tree, always make sure that the folds you make are nice and crisp. If you have a bone folder, you can use that to help you. Then we repeat the same on the left hand side. We're then going to take the front right corner and fold it inwards, so that the edge lines up with the centre line. Then do the same with the front left corner. Then turn the whole shape over and do the same again. So bring the left and the right hand points inwards. We now have 4 flaps of paper on the outside of this shape. Next, we want to push these flaps inside the shape so that they're no longer on the outside. To do this, we're going to have to reverse a couple of folds on each flap. So unfold a paper flap and reverse the central fold and the fold on the left so that you can push it inside the main paper shape. Like so. What we're aiming for is a kind of concertina all the way around. And then you do the same thing for the other 3 paper flaps. So you unfold it and then reverse the central fold to be able to push that paper flap inside the main shape. As you can see, it can be a bit tricky to reverse the folds at the point of the tree, particularly if you're using thicker paper. If you have a chopstick or knitting needle or something similar, you can always use that to help you get into that point and help you make the folds. And you do the same on the other side. Your folds should look like this. You then use your scissors to make a flat base for your tree by cutting off the smaller triangle shape. The next part is the easiest part, and all you have to do is cut 3 diagonal slits in each side of this tree shape. Each cut needs to go through all the paper layers on that half of the tree. Then make sure that all the paper layers are separated. And then for each layer you need to make 3 folds. Each fold needs to go from the end of a cut to the start of the cut underneath. And each fold will create a little triangle. So on every layer you're going to have 3 little paper triangles folded upwards. Make sure that the triangles are folded in the same direction all the way around the tree. And that's it, you've now finished your paper tree. You can display this tree as is, or you can make a whole forest of paper trees, or you could add a battery-powered tea light inside, like in this example, or you could even add a loop of thread or a hanging hook. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and thank you very much for watching.